Well, what are you gonna do, gentlemen? Terrence Pop here with another episode live from the Lair. And, I don't know, man. I might have to do something better, but this is what I got thus far. You know, my shit hasn't arrived yet, so what are you gonna do? So, hang on, I'm gonna show you what's going on here a little bit. Move it around. This is my wall of swords behind me. And I hung up some of the axes and warhammers and shit. I even have a Nagata up there. And I have a samurai sword, but that's only one I put up on this wall. Alright. I don't know. We'll go on to some of my desert phase stuff. I'm a little tired today. It's been a long goddamn day. Did my taxes, did a bunch of paperwork, bought this table that everything's set up on since my bags and baggage haven't been delivered yet. I should probably make a phone call tomorrow because I'm kind of aggravated since it was supposed to be here on the 7th. It's now the 16th. But, you know, I was patient. My patience have run out. I talked about Ranger School, how I started off an Alpha company, and you know, the shit that they did was, I don't know, it was insanely abusive, and for me to say that, says a lot. I mean, a lot of stuff they did was just totally uncalled for. It's a brutal fucking harassment, the grenade simulators, the artillery simulators, being detonated, when you're sleeping right next to you, when you're taking this shit. Fucking with your food, fucking with your sleep, just making your life a living fucking hell. But I thought I had seen the worst of it up until a point when I had actually got into, desert phase with Alpha Company the first time through. Because, in the other phases, when you finish the shit, they usually let you sleep for 1 or 2 hours, every night, or at least every other night. Especially in desert phase, you're supposed to get 4 hours of sleep before you do the live fires, because desert phase was almost all live fires. There was a few blank missions, but most of them were live fires. And the regulation states you're supposed to get 4 hours of sleep before you start slinging lead down range. And they would give us our sleep, but it would be in 30 minutes here, get up for an hour, go back to sleep for 20, get up for another 30 minutes, move over here, lay down and sleep. Oh, you can't sleep, too bad, get up, move over here. And this they did this all the time. And why people didn't get fucking killed is beyond me, because everyone has live rounds, and you have a lot of them were raid missions where you have, security, support, and assault, and you have a lot of moving pieces with live rounds going down range. And a few of those, they actually, called in indirect fire, which was loom rounds, but still, the 4 deuce loom rounds are pretty egregious, especially when you hear the canisters, hit the ground. Funny story about that, actually. We were doing one of our raids, and I was on the assault line, and they started, the support opened up, and they hosed the objective down, and then, we get up and we start assaulting across, and you can hear the loom rounds go off overhead, and then they light up the sky like it's noon. And I'm online, and we're assaulting across the objective, and I hear the woo, 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 and, off to my right, I see it just for a split second. The case comes down and hits this dude right on top of his fucking helmet. And he just goes stiff. Boop, down he goes. The RIs don't even miss a beat. They're like, real world casualty, carry him. Like, this guy could have had a broken neck. He could have been legitimately fucked up, but no, we have to stop everything. Well, we actually didn't stop everything. We just continued doing the deal, dragging Mr. Fuckbag knocked out boy behind us until we finish the mission. We consolidate, we come off the objective, And do they call in a medevac for the guy? No. I mean, he was awake by then, but he was pretty fucked up. We had to carry him back to the patrol base along with our 2 other prior casualties that we took, before that. And then, just like clockwork, we're always hit by gas, at least 2 times there and 2 times back while carrying 2 to 3 fucking casualties. It was a fucking nightmare. And another time, I was actually on the support team, and I was, hooked up with the gunner. I called him Big Black and Bald. I ran into him just about a year and a half ago at the train station, and he was significantly bigger. So and he was balder, so he became Big Black, Bald, and Blind. His glasses, I swear, were fucking an inch and a half thick when we were in Ranger School, and they're even thicker now. I don't even know if we could have got those things fixed. But at this particular mission, he was on sick call, so I had the gun. And I remember we're up there in support, and we're waiting for the loom round to go off, and I hear, boom, boom, boom. And then, boom, the loom lights up. That's the cue to start shooting. But on the ground, there was a herd of antelope. And literally, they just kind of look up, and I'm like, and all 4 of the guns. And I'm the last guy on the stick, right? And I'm just trying to mow these things down on the fucking objective. And I remember, there's 2 or 3 of us, because I could see the tracers. We're zooming in on this one antelope, and we hit him, and it kind of goes stiff, and it goes down in the grass, and we just kind of rake over where it is. And I remember the RI's like, ceasefire, ceasefire. And I'm looking right at him. And he has to run all the way down to past all 3 guns to get to mine, and kick me off the gun. And he's like, you didn't hear me? You didn't hear me yell ceasefire? I'm like, no, I was firing a machine gun. What part of ceasefire did you not understand? I'm like, I was droning, I don't know. I got a major minus. And then the next day, me and all of the other gunners had to go out there and pick up these dead fucking antelope carcasses. There was 4 of them out there, and a couple of them were ripped into shreds because, apparently we raked over the one that was dead. We had ripped it apart into pieces. And I guess, 200 to 800 rounds of machine gun fire, fired into your carcass, rip apart a meat suit like just about anything else would. I don't know. But anyway, my gunner, on the other missions I pulled with him, he was so fucking bald or blind. It was beyond, I just couldn't understand it. Literally, there was a couple of, missions we're doing where, he's firing the gun, and I'm like, okay, go to the left, to your other left, okay, there we go, we're good. And I'm hitting the gun, all he's doing is pulling the trigger, and I'm basically aiming the machine gun for him so it doesn't hit anybody on the objective. And I'm making sure I'm keeping our bullets, from our gun out to the front of the other 3 guns just to be safe, I didn't want anybody to get killed because it was kind of stupid. And the guy was hilarious too, because I remember I spent many, many nights next to this guy in fighting positions, and he was one of those guys that every night he had 3 wet wipes. He would wipe his hands down in his face and his armpits and clean himself up. I mean, he was very, very, hygienic when it comes to that. He brushed his teeth 3 times a day. I was too fucking tired. I had run out of care and I didn't have any give a fucks left to spend. And there was a couple times, literally I'd be in the hole next to him and he's on this side, and I would just kind of roll over once, whip out my shit, take a piss, and then roll back into the hasty fighting position, and he would look over and be like, nasty, Pop, you just nasty. Would it hurt you to get up and take one, maybe 3 steps? How about just a step, Pop? Just a step. Just take a step away. And I'd be like, we'll be gone in the morning anyway. Who fucking cares? So anyway, a year and a half ago, I'm in the train station, right? And he had this deep, raspy voice, kind of like an old jazz singer. You know, I'd never forget it. And I heard this guy, he's yelling at, I think he was yelling at one of his kids or something. And I look over and I see this large, fat old dude with not a lick of hair on his fucking head. Glasses 2-3 inches thick now. I mean, they're huge. I mean, his nose is like even pushed down farther than it usually is, you know. And I walked up to him and I'm like, hey, you wouldn't by any chance go by the nickname Big, Black, and Bald and Blind now, will you? He didn't even look up. He goes, that's Pop, if I ever heard. He looked up, he said, man, we had a couple beers that night. It was a good fucking time, man. Apparently he's a big wig for some, I don't know, some kind of chemical company. And he was going back to home. He had his kid with him to come on business or some shit. They're getting a sleeper car, and he was rolling back to Chicago. And I was getting off at Detroit, so he had like another 8 hours beyond me from the normal train ride that I take in the wintertime. And we bullshitted, man. It was a good fucking time. The world's a small, big place, and you never know who you're going to run into. What can I say? All right, and another thing that really pissed me off about my first go through in Ranger School is I had, going into desert phase, you know, the first time, I think I had somewhere between 16 and 18 major minuses. You know, I had a big mouth. I don't know what my problem was. I think maybe I just asked a lot of questions, or I basically showed my contempt for the fucking RIs in my face or something. But they wrote me up for everything. I mean, somebody could do some fucked up shit. It's my fault because I'm the admin first sergeant major fucking minus, whatever. So I went through that entire phase, just fucking got hammered. I mean, they just abused the shit out of you. And I didn't even get a fucking patrol, man. I needed like 2 more goes. All right, I needed 2 patrols, 2 goes in a row, and I would have graduated on time. But they didn't even give me a fucking patrol. They basically, from the very beginning, said, hey, we're going to recycle this motherfucker, but we're going to walk him around and fucking beat his fucking ass, and that'll be that. So I remember the last day of Desert Phase Round 1, and I'm fucking lividly pissed off. And I'm seriously contemplating taking my weapon and just fucking laying some RI's fucking head right open. I'm so fucking pissed off. And I knew that I was getting recycled. But they were kind of smart about it when they tell you, they don't really tell you straight up that you're going to get recycled. They bring you back. They give you like 4 to 6 hours worth of sleep. They feed you in the morning. And then in the morning until lunch, they basically rotate everyone in and they tell you the deal. So, you know, I went from that night wanting to split somebody's fucking skull open to, fuck it, I gotta suck it up and do this fucking again. Fuck that place. And I can honestly say, I hope I never run into any of those RIs at one of the Ranger rendezvous in the future. Because I'm planning to go to a couple of them, I think. Because if I see them, I'm probably going to push their fucking faces in. The shit that went on there, in my opinion, there was no excuse for it. There wasn't any learning value to it. There wasn't any teaching value to that kind of fucking bullshit. And my first time through, you know, Desert Phase in Ranger School was a complete waste of time. All right, gentlemen. Hopefully I can get more accustomed to this area I'm in. Hopefully they'll get better. I'll improve the lighting if it's not good enough. I'll talk to you later.